in the Southeastern Conference, because there is a team in the SEC and in that loaded SEC that now has 4 wins over top 12 ranked net teams. No one else in college basketball can say they have more than 2. So this team has double everybody else. It's Mark Pope. It's the Kentucky Wildcats. And on another Saturday where it's one story for Kentucky in a new era and another story for the man who used to be their head coach before leaving, all you can think of is what a glorious time for Big Blue Nation, because on this night, Kentucky scores 95 in Starkville. How refreshing it has to be for BBN. 95 points against an elite Mississippi State defense. Jaxson Robinson, fantastic. Ansley Almanor comes up huge, the FDU transfer, showing off why you portal, why you get gems from the portal. Final score, Kentucky 95, Mississippi State 90. Kentucky is 13-3, as we just said, 4 wins over the net top 12. Rob Dalster, Kentucky's shown us a lot throughout the season. What do you say about this win?
It's just another example of somebody else stepping up and making big shots and somebody else stepping up and taking a game over. And this one, it was Jaxson Robinson early in the second half that made a whole bunch of threes that was able to get Kentucky a little bit of separation. You had Lamont Butler hitting the game-winning shot at the end. You had 3 straight threes from Ansley Almanor, like you mentioned, Fanda, to kind of give Kentucky a cushion after Mississippi State made a little bit of a run. The thing that impressed me the most, and Tio, I don't know if you caught this, there was a point midway through the second half where Kentucky kind of got beat up physically a little bit. Andrew Carr had a rebound ripped away from him that led directly to an RJ Melendez 3. And then 2 possessions later, Amari Williams had a rebound kind of ripped away. Maybe he was fouled, whatever it was. He had a ball that was in his hands, and then it ended up being Mississippi State ball. They make a 3 on the ensuing possession. There's a foul on the rebound, and then after they take it out of bounds, there's another 3 from the corner. So that ended up being a 6-point possession. They had 9 points that they shouldn't have gotten based off of Kentucky giving up rebounds that they shouldn't have given up. And that's the kind of thing that you can see torpedo a game. That's the kind of thing that you can see break the back of a team. And it didn't on the road. It didn't coming off of a loss. Like I was just really, really impressed with, let's call it the intestinal fortitude that this Kentucky team showed tonight on the road in Starkville was Stark Vegas tonight, man. That building was crazy. Kentucky fans get a little riled up about that. They say that every road game they play is someone else's Super Bowl. Well, that's what happens when you are Kentucky, okay? You're going to have to deal with it. That's why you go there. Super impressive win. I thought it was really, really nice to see Jaxson Robinson kind of break his slump a little bit.
Are you guys ready for me to be negative? I'm not usually negative in the first segment, but I'm about to be.
Do it.
How about the fact that if they can't score 80 points, I'm worried about Kentucky. This defense is not good enough right now. And it's not just this game. They're 15th in the SEC through 3 games in conference play. Throughout non-conference play all season long, 87th on KenPom defensively. The games where they've scored less than 70 points, 0-3. So if their offense isn't working, we got problems. And guys, there's not going to be many nights when their offense isn't going to be working. There's too many weapons there. I'm a little bit shocked that the team defensively isn't much better than what they are. And the reason I say that is simply because you have Lamont Butler, who's one of the best point guard defenders in college basketball. You have Amari Williams, who's one of the better 5-man defenders in college basketball. You have Otega Oweh, who's fully capable of locking somebody down. And that offense is special. And it's been special all season long. I'm worried about defensively. If you go into the tournament or you go into the SEC tournament and somebody slows something down and they're able to defend you, how are you going to respond? Can you get stops consistently? And they went up against Mississippi State. And guys, look, Mississippi State's really good this season. They're really good. Like 90 points, a lot of points. And it's not just this game. They beat Florida at home. What they score, $107? I can't remember exact score right now. No, 106. So Georgia slows them down. They score 69 points. They get thumped by 13 away from their home. They go to Clemson, 70-66. They slow the game down. I love Kentucky's team offensively. Can they manufacture enough stops? That's my biggest concern. And look, guys, love Kentucky, love Mark Pope. That Zoom action offense and everything everybody has raved about is awesome to watch. When it comes to nut-cutting time in tournament play, not just SEC tournament play, NCAA tournament play, Can you freaking get it done? And Fanta, you don't know what nut cutting time is. That's whenever you got to castrate some bulls out at the farm. That's what that means. When it's nut cutting time and you have to really put your foot on the gas, can you get it done defensively? And I'm not sure that Kentucky can get it done defensively just quite yet. They haven't proved that
Wait a
yet.
minute.
I think
I'm just going to say this. And then Rob jump in. Last year, Alabama, their defensive efficiency, and they made it to the Final Four, was sub 100. I mean, they were at 111. The year before, Miami made a Final Four with a defensive efficiency of 99. Kentucky's at 87. So you might be able to get to the Final Four. You might be able to get to San Antonio without cutting any nuts.
Well, you still like to be able to rely on nut cutting.
Hey, here's what I'll say, though. I'd rather have Kentucky's offense than Tennessee's defense.
I agree with that 100%. And Tio, you are 100% correct. I just think that so they don't force a lot of turnovers. That's my big thing, right? Amari Williams, we talked about this a little bit last week. Amari Williams was an elite defender at the CAA level. And then now that he's at the SEC level, I don't think that the athleticism advantage that he still has. And now he's just like a good defender instead of being one of the best defenders that you're going to find at that level, right? I would like to see them try to force some more turnovers because they're not going to have elite rim protection, right? And they do a pretty good job of running teams off the 3-point line. They just don't really end possessions by turning you over and getting a bunch of easy buckets at the other end. I think that's the key for them. But I'm not really worried about that in terms of them getting to a Final Four. I think they can win 4 in a row. Winning 6 in a row and being able to beat 2 good teams in San Antonio is going to be a difficult thing to do if you can't take that next step on the defensive end. So I'm kind of talking out of both sides of my mouth when I say that. But, yeah, a lot of fun to watch, man. At the very least, we know if they make it to San Antonio, we are going to get some exciting – because that's all this team plays. They just play exciting basketball games against good teams. If they play someone bad, then they get their ass kicked. That's the problem.
Utah State hit a 3, forced a turnover. They just took the lead on a go-ahead lay-in, 77-76 with 30.9 seconds left. Drama. It's on CBS Sports Network if you want to go multiple screens with us here. Here's the thing, Rob. And T.O. Let's start with you on this, T.O. I understand what you're saying. I totally agree with you because at the end of the day, Alabama and Miami didn't win national championships. So they made it to the Final Four. We are now talking about Kentucky as a national championship contender in year 1 of the Mark Pope era. And that's because they are. They have depth, they have experience, they have balance, they have a different guy on any given night. Kobe Bryant did this last week. Jaxson Robinson did this tonight. And I look at it.
Hey, Kobe Bryant did it the other day. Kobe Bryant went nuts, I want to say, against Florida. Like, it's always somebody different. What happens with what happens when the water's shut off? That's my concern.
No, forget that right now. Because to me, this is another moment for this program. If they could score 95 in Stark Vegas against Chris Jans and Mississippi State, they could do it against pretty much anybody. And they've done it already. I mean, they just did it last Saturday against Florida. I think let's look at what this team is in year 1 of the Pope era. Terrence, they're 13-3. They own more quality. They own more quality wins. We'll get to it in a second, Ron. More quality wins than anybody in college basketball. Like, Terrence, go big picture for a second. Did you foresee this in year 1 of the Mark Pope era to this degree? And how has it gotten to this degree? How has it gotten this good?
Yeah, I did think they would be this good for what it's worth. I think I picked
you thought they would be a top 10 team.
Yes.
Yes.
From day one, I thought that was the case. I did think that. I'm just look. They're going to be a top 10 team all season long. They're going to win games because they can score so much. But on days where you can't score 90 points, that's my concern. I think they're a top 10 team. The only problem is the NCAA tournament is a one-off, so it could be a struggle. It got this way because we all knew Mark Pope could coach before he ever got to campus. We knew he could coach at BYU. He did a fantastic job there. Now he goes to Kentucky. He gets his pick of the litter in terms of the transfer portal. And not only did they identify good transfer, they identified transfers that fit together remarkably well. So did I think this could happen this year? Absolutely I did, because there was no holdover. I'm pretty sure he even switched over the managers, because I think Cal took him with him to Arkansas. That's not working all that well. Congratulations, Kentucky.